Super Awkward Funcast. You're listening to the Super Awkward Funcast. Yeah.
This is the new episode of Super Awkward Funcast, episode 43. I don't usually do this, but I thought since, everyone's talking about the presidential address to Congress yesterday, or they were. Well, they are on my timeline on Twitter, but that's a lot of upset leftists. It's funny how I have so many leftists, people that I follow and follow me when I'm like not anything. I don't identify as a political party of any type. This is going to be unedited. I'm loving it. I gotta be on my game, but my voice has not been great the last couple of days, so I've been a little worried about doing this shit, but here I am. So let's let Joe Biden talk to us for a little while. I mean, I figure since nobody listens to this damn thing anyway, I might as well do reactions. So whenever he says something really stupid, oh wait, I should get a drink. Hold up. I'm gonna get water. Oh, I messed up the mic for a second. My bad. This is going great. Keep tuned into that dial. Water time. Filling her up. Okay. Every time he fucks up, I will take a sip, and I'll let you know when I'm done. Every time he fucks up, I'll take a sip, and I'll let you know when I'm done where I'm at on the drink, which is water, because I don't drink. So it's just for fun. So anyway, I got the whole thing queued up. It's an hour, this shit, and this is good material, right? So let's do it. And then we'll do like a breakdown of all the topics that I want to talk about, and I'll leave the links in the show notes, because it's more important that you read all of this information and you get it for yourself than I like spout a whole bunch of shit at you. So what I'm going to do this time is react to this goddamn thing with the barking in the background, and then we are going to talk about the topics, and then I will link you to all of them, all of the facts of the situation. So I'm fact-based now, because in a fake news world, you gotta have some facts somewhere just to keep it interesting. So here we go. So the preface for this is President Joe Biden delivering his first State of the Union address. Kind of a big deal, but he's basically talking to Congress. I've seen little bits and pieces, but I want to react to it in real time. So this is the first reaction I will ever do, probably the last, on this broadcast, this podcast. This is from last night, April 28th, 2021, and in the description it says, President Joe Biden delivered his State of the Union address to about 200 members of Congress, the military, and his cabinet. Not to us, remember that. Attendance was severely limited due to COVID restrictions. Okie dokie. So I have not drunk any water yet, and it's only there for when he fucks up. And fuck up can mean like saying the wrong word and then saying I'm sorry. So he has to acknowledge the fuck up. If he doesn't acknowledge the fuck up, then I'm not going to drink. That's fair. I mean, if he's stuttering or whatever, that's something he can't control, and I'm not going to make fun of someone stuttering. I'm not that kind of person. But if he fucks up his script or whatever, that's a different story. So here we go. We're starting out. My first reaction after years and years of doing this fucking podcast, I'm doing a reaction. Here we go.
Chuckle understand it's good to be almost home.
Mitts and Chuckle. That's 1 second in.
Madam Speaker, Madam Vice President.
Unless he meant to say Mitts and Chuckle.
No president.
Hell, we can go back and let you hear that again.
Mitch and Chuckle understand it's good to be almost
Mitch
home.
and Chuckle.
Down the hall. Anyway, thank you all, Madam
Goodness
Speaker,
me.
Madam Vice President.
Maybe that's his nickname for Chuck
No president
Schumer.
has ever said those words from this podium. No president has ever said those words. And it's about time.
And now it's you. It's such a dystopian hellscape. They're all wearing masks, except him. And now there's a plane, but we're gonna ignore it.
Chief Justice,
I don't know why I just drank.
members of the
I just
United
assumed he
States
messed up.
Cabinet, distinguished guests, my fellow Americans. While the setting tonight is familiar, this gathering is just a little bit different. A reminder of the extraordinary times we're in. Throughout our history, presidents have come to this chamber to speak to Congress, to the nation, and to the world. To declare war, to celebrate peace, to
When?
announce new plans and
When did that
possibilities.
happen?
Tonight, I come to talk about crisis and opportunity.
There's gonna be a plane in the background because there's always one.
Revitalizing
And
our
it's
democracy
most likely a
and
helicopter.
winning the future for America.
Winning the
I
future.
stand here tonight,
Alright.
one day shy of the 100th day in my administration. 100 days since I took the oath of
So
office,
annoying, but
lifted
we
my
gotta
hand
get through it.
off our family Bible and inherited a nation. We all did. That was in crisis. The worst pandemic in a century.
I
Worst
doubt that.
economic crisis since the Great Depression. The worst attack on our democracy since the Civil War.
I'm just gonna go ahead and drink because that's just so fucking wrong.
I can report to the nation. America is on the
That
move
is
again.
a fuck up.
Peril into possibility. Crisis to opportunity.
Oh!
Setbacks into strength.
Y'all love to do that.
We all know life can knock us down.
They definitely did
But
that
in
with COVID.
America, we never, ever, ever stay down. Americans always get up. Today, that's what we're doing. America's rising anew. Choosing hope over fear. Truth over lies and light over darkness. After 100 days of rescue and renewal,
100.
America's ready for a takeoff, in my view. We're working again,
Take off.
dreaming again,
When did we
discovering
stop
again,
dreaming and working?
and leading the world again. We have shown each other and the world that there's no quit in America. None. 100 days ago, America's house was on fire.
Oh dear.
We had to act. And thanks to the extraordinary leadership of Speaker Pelosi, Majority Leader Schumer,
Oh, there we go.
and the overwhelming support of the American people,
Motherfucker.
Democrats, Independents, and Republicans, we did act. Together we passed the American Rescue Plan,
I took a sip.
one of the most consequential rescue packages in American history. We're already seeing the results.
Yeah, for billionaires.
We're already seeing the results. After I promised we'd get 100 million COVID-19 vaccine shots into people's arms in 100 days, we will have provided over 220 million COVID shots.
That's
in those
creepy
100
as fuck. If that's true, there's a lot of dumb people out there. Including some family members. No, I don't mean that. I was gonna drink. I don't know why. So I just think that's so wrong.
We've gotten vaccines to nearly 40,000 pharmacies. and over 700 community health centers
I did not sip.
where the poorest of the poor can be reached. We're setting up community vaccination sites, developing mobile units to get the hard-to-reach
Hey, when are those going to be FDA approved?
Today, 90% of Americans now live within 5 miles of a vaccination site. Everyone over
That's
the age
disturbing.
of 16, everyone
That's not an
is now
adult,
eligible
just
to get
for
vaccinated
reference.
right now, right away. Go get
Since when is a
vaccinated,
16-year-old
America.
an adult?
Go
But
and
okay.
get the vaccination.
No,
They're
fuck off.
available.
I don't care. So is
Eligible
crack.
now.
I'm not going to eat that. Eat that. Inject that.
When I was sworn in on January 20th, less than 1% of the seniors in America are fully vaccinated against COVID-19. 100 days later, 70% of seniors in America over 65 are protected, fully protected.
How many have died?
Senior
We
deaths
don't get to
from
know that.
COVID-19 are down 80% since January.
What about the vaccine? How many
80%
vaccine
because of
deaths
all of
are
you.
there? You won't talk
And
about
more than
that.
half of all the adults in America have gotten at least one shot.
They're not
Last
adults if they're
vaccination
16.
center, Glendale, Arizona. I asked the nurse, I said, "What's it like?" She looked at me and she said, "It's like every shot is
What?
giving a dose of hope."
Oh my
That's
gosh.
a phrase, a dose of hope.
Hopium again.
A dose of hope for an educator in Florida who has a child
Just like we had
suffering
hope
from
during
autoimmune disease.
the Obama
Wrote to
administration.
me, said she's worried and she was worried about bringing the virus home.
How'd that work
She
out?
said she then got vaccinated at a large site in
Joe.
her car. She said she sat in her car. when
Did
got
she
vaccinated,
shake
just
afterwards? Did she have
cried.
anaphylactic
Cried
shock?
out of joy and cried out of relief. Parents, seeing the smiles on their kids' faces for those who are able to go back to school because the teachers and school bus drivers and cafeteria workers have been vaccinated.
Which doesn't prevent the virus, by the way, but he
Hugging
won't
their
say
children
that.
and grandchildren instead of pressing hands against a window
You can still get the virus.
to say goodbye. Means everything. Those
Means
things mean
nothing.
everything.
Just like everything
You know,
governmental.
there's still, you all know it. You know it better than any group of Americans. There's still more work to do to beat this virus. We can't
More
let
money
our
to
guard
be
down.
distributed.
Tonight, I can say because of you, the American people, our progress these past 100 days against one of the worst pandemics in history
I really want to
has
drink
been one of the
water.
greatest logistical achievements this country's ever seen.
Fuck up again.
What else have we done in those first 100 days?
Bombing
We kept our
countries.
commitment, Democrats and Republicans, of sending $1,400 rescue checks to 85% of American households. We've already sent more than 160 million checks out the door. It's making a difference. You all know when you go home.
It's not making a
For
difference.
many people, it's making all the difference in the world.
Not when unemployment
A
is
single mom in Texas who wrote
unavailable.
she said she couldn't work. But she said the relief check put food on the table and saved her and her son from eviction from their apartment.
There's no way that
A
happened.
grandmother in Virginia who told me she immediately took her granddaughter to the eye doctor. Something she said she put off for months because she didn't have the money. One of the defining images, at least from my perspective in this crisis, has been cars lined up for miles. And not people who just barely able to start those cars, nice cars.
I have no idea what he said, so I'm going to sip.
Waiting for a box of food to be put in their trunk.
Sipped a little more because
I
I'm
don't know
thirsty.
about you, but I didn't ever think I'd see that in America. And all of this is
I never
through
thought
no
I'd see a corpse
fault of
president,
their
but here
own.
we are.
No fault of their own, these people are in this position.
It's your fault.
That's why the rescue plan
You're right.
is delivering food
It's the
and
government's
nutrition
fault.
assistance to millions of Americans
They
facing
took their
hunger.
jobs.
And hunger's down sharply
Our
already.
jobs. I'm one of them.
We're also providing rental assistance. You all know this, but the American people, I want to make sure they understand. Keeping people from being evicted from their homes.
For a little while.
Providing loans to small
With
businesses
interest.
that reopen and keep their employees on the job. During these 100 days, an additional 800,000 Americans enrolled in the Affordable Care Act when I established a special sign-up period to do that. 800,000 in that period. We're making one of the largest one-time ever investments, ever.
Aren't you forced to
in improving
join that?
healthcare for
Okay.
veterans. Critical investments to address
Kind of
the
have to
overdose.
have the Affordable
And
Care
maybe
Act.
Most importantly, thanks to the American
Healthcare.
Rescue Plan, we're on track to cut child poverty in America in half this year.
That's not going to happen. And just because that's a lie, I'm going to sip. There's no way that's true. Also, you're still starving Yemen, but whatever. With my money.
And in the process,
Our money.
while this was all going on, the economy created more than 1,300,000 new jobs in 100 days. More jobs.
Shitty jobs, probably. Jobs no one really wants.
More jobs in the first 100 days
Well, I won't
than any
want them.
president on record. The International Monetary Fund.
Does he just want a pat on the back for everything? This is so uncomfortable.
the
We're so
International
great. Applaud us.
Monetary Fund.
Fuck off.
Is now estimated
Stop
our
bombing
economy
countries.
will grow at a rate of more than 6% this year.
With my
That'll
money.
be the fastest pace of economic growth in this country in nearly 4 decades. America's moving forward.
I thought he said
We
America's
can't
movie.
Stop now.
I'm
We're
assuming
in
he said moving
competition
though.
with China and other countries to win the 21st century. We're at a great inflection
What the
point
fuck does that
in
even
history.
mean?
We have to
Who
do more than
wins
just
a
build
century?
Back better. We have to build back better.
There it is. I already saw
have to
this clip,
compete
so I'm gonna sip
More
twice.
strenuously than we have. Throughout our history,
He fucked
we
up
think
twice.
about it. Public investment in
Couldn't get his
infrastructure,
line out. Build back better. They say that a lot. The government.
our attitudes
The world
and growth
government. Like,
opportunities.
there's a whole
The
compilation
Transcontinental Railroad,
video about it.
the interstate highways, united two oceans.
Kinda like the Great Reset. Another word for the Great Reset.
To the United States of America. Universal public schools and college aid opened wide the doors of opportunity. Scientific breakthroughs took us to the moon. Now we're on Mars. Discovering
What?
vaccines gave us the internet.
That doesn't
So
make
much
sense.
more.
That's just not a sensible sentence. I'm not.
These are investments
So-
we made together as one country. And investments that only the government was in a position to make. Time and again, they propel us into the future. That's why I proposed the American Jobs Plan, a once-in-a-generation investment in America itself. This is the largest jobs plan since
That
World
was
War
my
II.
roommate leaving.
Creates jobs to upgrade our transportation infrastructure.
I was supposed to do this last night.
Jobs,
My
modernizing
voice
our
wasn't
roads,
there.
Bridges, highways. Jobs
Skyways.
building ports and
Byways.
airports, rail corridors, transit lines.
Words.
It's clean water. And today,
Like Flint?
up to 10 million homes
What
in
have you
America,
done there?
more than
Chicago?
400,000
East Chicago?
schools and child care centers
Florida?
have pipes with lead in them, including drinking water.
And nobody's done anything about it
Present
since your
danger to our
administration.
children's health.
Your last one. Since
American
Obama.
Jobs Plan
What did
creates
Obama
jobs
do?
replacing
He drank it.
100%
Not
of
for
the
real, though.
nation's lead pipes and service lines, so every American
Go fuck off.
can drink clean water.
You ain't doing shit.
And the process will create thousands and thousands of good-paying jobs.
Good pain.
It creates jobs connecting every American with high-speed internet, including 35% of the rural America that still doesn't have it.
I feel like a lot of
It's
this
gonna
is
help our
lies.
kids
But
and
I'm
our
not
businesses
gonna
succeed in the 21st
Fact
century
check him
economy.
because I don't want to go look it up.
And I'm asking the Vice President to lead this effort.
Or they're probably statistics from
Because I know we'll
2009
get
or
done.
2010 or something. Very, you know, that's what politicians will do.
Creates jobs
And
building
media
a modern power
companies.
grid.
They'll use
Our grids are vulnerable
old
to
statistics to make a
storms,
point
hacks,
now.
catastrophic failures,
Which I try not to
with
do
tight,
myself.
Tragic results.
Or if I do it, I
as we
mention
saw
that
in
it's from
Texas and
that
elsewhere
specific
during the winter
year.
storms. The American Jobs Plan will create jobs that lay thousands of miles of transmission lines needed to build a resilient and fully clean grid. We can do that.
Yeah, if we stop giving billions of dollars to the military budget, we could do that. If we're not doing that, who's paying for it? Oh yeah, us.
Millions of people get back to their jobs.
Our
And
asses.
back to their careers.
I have no career. My job is over.
Have dropped
You
out
killed
of the
it.
workforce during this
Fuck
pandemic.
off.
2 million. And too often because they couldn't get the care they needed to care for their child or care for an elderly parent who needs help.
I need help.
800,000 families are on the Medicare waiting list right now to get home care for their aging parent
Why?
or loved one with disability.
Why?
If you think it's not important, check out in your own district, Democrat or Republican. Democrat or Republican voters. Their great concern, almost as much as their children, is taking care of an elderly loved one who can't be left alone. Medicaid contemplated it, but
I
this
might be
plan's
an
gonna help
asshole.
those
I don't
families
care. I think everyone
and
can be left
create
alone.
Jobs for our caregivers
Sorry.
with better wages and better
I know there's
benefits.
caregivers and everything. I feel like if that's your job, fine. But if you're doing that for your family member, you're going to resent them eventually. That's just me. I would resent them because I'm not a good person when it comes to that. I'm not a hospitable person.
Jobs.
Jobs. Let's take yours. You're not doing anything. Nobody shuts down Congress.
For me,
They don't lose their
when I
jobs.
think climate change, I think
Oh no, here we go again.
the American Jobs Plan will put engineers and construction workers to work building more energy efficient buildings and homes.
He's just copying Trump's
Electrical
thing,
workers,
the
IBM
American
members
thing,
installing 500,000 charging stations
and putting a
along our
Democrat
highways.
label on it.
So we can
So
own,
stupid.
the electric car market. Farmers planting cover crops so they can reduce the carbon dioxide in the air and get paid for doing it.
What?
Look,
I just didn't understand that, but I'm gonna let it go.
there is simply no reason
Yeah.
why the blades for wind turbines can't be built in Pittsburgh instead of Beijing. No reason. None.
You could say that for everything made in China.
So folks, there's no reason why American workers can't lead the world in the production of electric vehicles and batteries. I mean, there is no reason. We have this capacity. We're the brightest, best trained people in the world.
Do
The
we?
American Jobs Plan is going to create millions of good-paying jobs. Jobs Americans can raise a family on.
They're always talking about
As my dad would
jobs.
then say, with a little breathing room.
They always talk about jobs.
All the investments
That's not
in
all we
American
give a
Jobs
shit
Plan
about.
Will be guided by one principle: buy American. Buy
I
American.
feel like all of this is gonna be domestic policy shit.
And I might note parenthetically,
Because he doesn't want to talk about that other shit, because,
that
unless he
does
talks about
not-
terrorism.
That does not violate any trade agreement. It's been
They're
the
the
law
terrorists.
since the 30s. Buy American. American tax dollars
Old
are
shit.
going to be used to buy American products.
How long have they been
Make
saying
America
this?
to create American jobs. That's the way it's supposed
They
to be. and it
always
will
say
be this
this, and then
administration.
nothing happens. And then it's all China.
And I
So
made it
not
clear to
true.
all my cabinet people, their ability to give exemptions
My cabinet
has
people.
been strenuously limited.
Okay.
It will be American
I don't
products.
think that's a word, so
Now,
I'm
I
gonna
know
sit.
Some of you at home are wondering,
It might be,
These
but I
jobs
don't
are
think
for
it's
you.
in the context they used it.
so many of you, so many of the folks I grew up with feel left behind.
I'm
forgotten,
almost half.
and an economy
full
is so
on my
rapidly
glass.
changing. It's frightening. I want to speak directly to you because you think about it. That's what people are most worried about. Can I fit in? Independent experts
Nobody is worried about that.
estimate the American Jobs Plan will add millions of jobs and trillions of dollars to economic growth in the years to come. It is a 8-year program. These are good-paying jobs that can't be outsourced.
And was the word you were
Nearly
looking for.
90% of the infrastructure jobs created in an American jobs plan do not require a college degree. 75% don't require an associate's degree.
Great.
The American jobs plan
Why'd I get
is a
one?
blue-collar blueprint to build America. That's what it is.
Slaves. Wage slaves.
And it recognizes something I've always said.
We're getting to that soon,
This
I'm sure.
chamber and the other. Good guys and women on Wall Street, but Wall Street didn't build this country. The middle class built the country. And unions built the middle class.
And they also took bribes.
So that's why I'm calling on Congress.
Okay. And that's where all of the gangsters were.
Pass Protect the Right to Organize Act, the PRO Act, and send it to my desk so we can support the right to unionize.
See, that's good in theory.
And by the way, while you're thinking about sending things to my desk,
Ugh.
let's raise the minimum wage to $15.
The way he thought that was a line, and the way that they're like pretending like that's the line, it's hilarious.
40 hours a
Hey,
week.
dumbass, we're still in poverty if we're making $15 an hour, especially in California and New York, you dipshit.
We need to ensure greater equity and opportunity for women. And while we're doing this, let's get the Paycheck Fairness Act to my desk as well.
God damn it.
They spent much too
Another
long.
myth.
And if you wonder whether it's too long, look behind me.
Look behind me
Finally,
at those
American jobs file will be the biggest increase
Horrible
in
women.
non-defense research and development on record.
who've done horrible things.
We'll see more technological
Great.
change. And some of you know more about this than I do.
I'm sure they
We'll see
do.
more technological change in the next 10 years than we
You don't
saw
know
in the
much.
last 50. That's how rapidly artificial intelligence and so much more is changing.
Oh, god damn it.
And we're falling behind the competition with the rest of the world. Decades ago, we used to invest 2% of our gross domestic product in America. 2% of our gross domestic product in research and development. Today, Mr. Secretary, that's less.
I feel like you
than
could say
1%.
decades ago for anything
China
and not have
and other
any
countries are closing
actual
in
numbers.
fast.
It's hilarious.
We have to develop and dominate the products and technologies of the future.
No, we don't.
Advanced batteries, biotechnology,
No, we don't.
computer chips.
I don't want a computer chip, bitch.
The Secretary of Defense can tell you.
Unless it's in
and
a
those of you
computer.
who work in national security issues know. The Defense Department has an agency called DARPA.
No, here we go.
The Defense
Yeah, we don't like
Advanced
DARPA.
Research Project Agency.
Normal people don't like DARPA.
The people who set up before I came here, and that's been a long time ago,
Oh, dear.
to develop breakthroughs
Agenda time.
that enhance our national security.
Notice how we glossed
That's the
right
whole
over that
job.
$15 minimum. Because
And
it
it's
did
a
not
separate
matter.
agency.
They
It's
knew
under
it didn't
Defense
matter. It
Department.
was just a line.
It's led to everything from the discovery of the internet
Let's get to the point, right?
to GPS and so much more.
GPS has a lot of
It's enhanced our
issues.
security.
Tracking.
The National Institute of Health, the NIH, I believe, should create a similar advanced research projects agency for health.
They have. You dipshit.
And here's what it would do.
Do some research. They've done
It has
that.
a singular purpose: to develop breakthroughs to prevent, detect, and treat diseases like Alzheimer's, diabetes, and cancer.
Oh, we care about that now?
I'll still never forget
Other diseases matter?
passed the cancer proposal the last year as vice president.
That was so long ago.
Almost $9 million going to NIH. And
Where did it
excuse the
go?
point of personal privilege. I'll never forget you stand and mention
Didn't go to
Sam
that.
Raymond after my deceased son.
He brings
Meant a lot.
any opportunity he gets, he brings up his fucking dead son.
That deceased
I
sons,
don't get it.
daughters, and relatives died of cancer.
Why are we?
I can think of no more worthy investment. I know of nothing.
Never
that
mind. I
is more
shouldn't say anything like
bipartisan.
that. I take it back.
So let's end
This is
cancer
live.
as we know it. It's within our power.
Being an asshole.
It's within
We're
our
all
power
assholes
to do
sometimes.
it.
I feel bad for his son. Sorry. Somebody probably killed him. My bad.
Investments in jobs and infrastructure like the ones we're talking about have often had bipartisan support in the past. Vice President Harris,
I don't know why everybody clapped there, but okay.
The Democrats and Republicans discussed the jobs plan. And I applaud.
We are not even 25 minutes in. This is the longest thing.
So let's get to work.
That's what she said.
I wanted to lay out before the Congress my plan before we got into the deep discussions. I like to meet with those who have ideas that are different. They think are better. I welcome those ideas.
They all look like NPCs with their masks on.
I just want to be clear. From my perspective, doing nothing is not an option.
But it is when it comes to Yemen and the genocide. Okay. That makes sense. But we're not talking about foreign policy.
We can't be so
Come on
busy
now.
competing with one another that we forget the competition that we have with the rest of the world to win the 21st century.
Again, winning a century. When is that
Secretary Blinken
a thing?
can tell you, I spent a lot of time with President Xi.
She.
Traveled over 17,000 miles.
He knows him. He's on a first
Spent
name
over 24 hours in private discussion.
basis.
When
You
he
know,
called
my
to
boy
congratulate
Xi.
him, we had a 2-hour discussion. He's deadly earnest about becoming the most significant, consequential nation in the world. He and others, autocrats, think that democracy can't compete in the 21st century with autocracies because it takes too long to get consensus. To win that competition for the future, in my view, we also need to make a once-in-a-generation investment in our families and our children. That's why I've introduced the American Families Plan tonight, which addresses 4 of the biggest challenges facing American families and in turn America. First is access to good education. When this nation made 12 years of public education universal,
Where's the
last
good
century,
education? Because I haven't seen
it
it.
made us the best educated, best prepared
I mean,
nation
look
in
at
the
our
world.
president.
It's, I believe, the overwhelming
Yeah.
reason that propelled
I
us
agree.
to where we got in the 20th century.
Okay, 20th century. All right, that's a sip. Let's go.
We're catching up. They're not waiting.
Delicious.
I would say parenthetically, if we were sitting down, we set a bipartisan committee together and said, okay, we're going to decide what we do in terms of government providing for free education. I wonder whether we'd think, as we did in the 20th century, that 12 years is enough in the 21st century. I
What?
doubt it.
What?
12 years is no longer enough today
For
to
what?
compete with the rest of the world in the 21st century.
I don't understand
That's
this
why my
reference.
American Families Plan guarantees 4 additional years of public education for every person in America,
12 years.
starting as early as we can.
Oh, I think I know what he means now.
Great
Okay.
universities in this
That took me
country
a second. I was like,
conducted
what is he talking
studies
about?
of the last 10 years.
Grade school. Duh.
It shows that adding 2 years of universal high-quality preschool for every 3-year-old and 4-year-old, no matter what background they come from, puts them in the position to be able to compete all the way through 12 years.
You know, like he said, smart kids are just as... white kids are just as... Wait, what was it? Black kids are just as...
Research shows when a young
I forgot it.
child
It was really
goes to
racist.
school, not
I'll
daycare,
put it in the show notes, because I
they're
forget.
far more likely to graduate from high
Bright
school
kids,
and go
just
to
as bright as
college.
white kids. Black kids
Or
are just as
something
bright as
after
white
high school.
kids. Smart kids.
When you add 2 years
God damn
of
it.
community college on top
What
of
is
that,
the fucking line?
you begin to change.
You know what? I'm gonna look
the
it up.
dynamic.
We're gonna play it. I'm gonna play that line. Because I fucking do not remember it. And I don't want to fuck it up. I don't want to pull a Biden. Black kids are, damn it, are just as bright. Oh, it was poor kids. Okay, here he is. Classic.
I want to move on to Iowa. if I can, because Joe Biden gave what was considered a blistering speech about President Trump. It was a moment that some said, how do you think that plays there? A gap?
Hold on.
Black kids, Asian kids,
Okay, hold on.
poor, you cannot do.
Hold on.
President Trump. It was a moment that some said was one of the strongest of his campaign to date. He's been out there on the stump.
This is from CNN. It was just the first fucking thing that came up because YouTube.
Some people think is one of the better versions of him, but he's also the version of Joe Biden that says things that are controversial inadvertently, to be sure. And Tolu, I want to play you something he said when he was speaking to a group of what we understand was Hispanic and Asian voters in Iowa yesterday. So let's listen to this.
We have this notion that somehow if you're poor, you cannot do it. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. Wealthy kids, black kids, Asian kids. No, I really mean it, but think how we think about it.
Think how you think about it, sir. But anyway. Alright, back to the show.
We can do that. And we'll increase Pell Grants and invest in historical black colleges and universities, tribal colleges, minority-serving institutions. The reason is they don't have the endowments. But their students are just as capable of learning about cybersecurity.
Dude, he's
Just
so
as
close to
capable of
saying
learning
that
about
again.
Metallurgy, all the things that are going on.
Metallurgy.
To provide those jobs of the future.
Metallurgy? That was out of nowhere.
Jill is a community college professor.
What is
who
metallurgy?
teaches today as First Lady. She's
I've
long
heard it
said-
before. I know it's a word. I don't know what job that is. Something to do with metal, I
she's
assume.
long-
Yay! A teacher! Okay. Cool. Ugh, Debbie Wasserman Schultz. They just showed her. I want to vomit.
Joe, any country that out-educates us is going to outcompete us.
We literally have gone 30 minutes without mentioning foreign policy.
Thank you, Joe.
And we're still
Second
talking
thing.
about this shit.
We need. American Families Plan will provide access to quality, affordable child care.
Access to quality, affordable childcare. Not free childcare, which would be cool. Affordable.
When I'm proposing in legislation,
Who decides what's
guarantee
affordable?
That low and middle income families will pay no more
For
than
whom?
7% of their income
What's the
for
criteria?
high quality care for children up to the age of 5.
This is
The
nothing.
most hard-pressed working families won't have to spend a dime. Third, the
Okay,
American Families
what's
Plan
the
will
criteria?
provide up to 12 weeks
Do we have
of
some
paid leave
details?
and
No?
medical
Okay,
family
cool.
leave. We're one of the few industrial countries in the world. No one should have to choose between a job and a paycheck, or taking care of themselves and their loved ones, or parent, or spouse, or child. And fourth, the
Whatever.
American Family Plan puts directly into the pockets of millions of Americans. In March, we expanded tax credit for
What
every
did that
child
even mean?
in a family.
Wait a minute.
Up
did
to
that sentence end?
$3,000 per child if you're under 6 years of age. Over 6 years of age.
Okay, we're going to do 2 sips because that was just weird.
$600 for children over 6 years of age. With 2 parents, 2 kids, that's
Don't know what happened there.
$7,200 in the pockets to help take care of your family.
He only
And
works
that
for
will
30
help more
minutes
than
at a time.
65 million children
No, that's not true.
and help cut child care.
He fucked up in the first second, as we saw.
And we can afford it.
I'm half full almost.
So we did that in
Oh, sip.
the last piece of
Don't know
legislation
what the
we
hell happened
passed.
there.
But let's extend that child care tax credit at least through the end of 2025. The American Rescue Plan lowered health care premiums for 9 million Americans who buy their coverage under the Affordable Care Act. I know that's really popular this side of the aisle. But let's make that provision permanent so their premiums don't go back up.
Or not have premiums. I don't know. Just an idea. We can't do that.
addition to my family's plan, I'm going to work with Congress to address this year other critical priorities for American families. The Affordable Care Act has been a lifeline for millions of Americans, protecting people with pre-existing conditions, protecting women's health, and the pandemic has demonstrated how badly it's needed. Let's lower deductibles for working families on the Affordable Care Act.
Erase them.
And
Eradicate
lower
them.
prescription drug costs.
That's,
We know how to do this.
Or maybe, make them $5, which is what they're worth.
The last president
Or
had
maybe
that
stop
effect. We all know
medicating
how
everyone,
outrageously expensive
an idea.
drugs are in America. In fact, we pay the highest prescription drug prices of anywhere in the world, right here in America. Nearly 3 times for the same drug.
I love how they went
nearly 3
right to
times
Bernie. And Bernie's like,
what other countries
I
pay.
know.
We have to change that, and we can. Let's do what we talked about for all the years I was down here in this body, in Congress.
In this body.
Let's give Medicare the power to save hundreds of billions of dollars by negotiating
Was that
lower
a
drug
slip?
prescription prices.
No more drugs. Fix the problems with the
By
foods.
the way,
Take GMOs out of everything.
It won't just help people on Medicare. Lower prescription drug costs for everyone. And the money we save, which is billions of dollars, can go to strengthen the Affordable Care Act and expand Medicare coverage.
But it won't. It'll go to the
without
military,
costing
because that's where it always goes.
An additional penny. It's
Don't worry
within
about
our
it.
Power to do it.
Raytheon.
Let's do it now.
You're good. We're not talking about that, but that's where it's going.
We've talked about it long enough.
Hey.
Democrats and Republicans. Let's get it done this year. This is
No.
all about a simple premise.
None of this ever gets done.
Healthcare
Are you new here?
should be
No.
a right, not
You were
a
there for
privilege
47
in
years.
America.
Fuck you. Make it free, bitch. Oh yeah, you won't.
How do we pay for my jobs and family plan? I made it clear
We pay for it, right?
we can do it without
Taxes.
increasing deficits. Let's start with what I will not do. I will not impose any tax increase on people making less than $400,000.
Bullshit.
But it's time
don't
for
believe
corporate
him.
America.
Also, that's a lot of
Both
money.
These 1% of Americans have just begun to pay their fair
That's
share.
not a normal salary.
Just their fair share.
I think 200,000 should be the cap, but whatever.
Sometimes I have arguments with my friends in the Democratic Party. I think you should be able to become a billionaire and a millionaire, but pay your fair share.
Well, you are a
Recent
millionaire,
study
right?
shows that 55 of the nation's biggest corporations paid 0 federal tax last year. Those 55
We should all pay
corporations
zero tax. I
made
agree.
in excess of $40 billion in profit. A lot of companies also evade taxes through tax havens in Switzerland and Bermuda and the Cayman
And
Islands.
Delaware? They don't talk about that.
And they benefit from tax loopholes and deductions for offshoring jobs and shifting profits overseas. It's not right.
Oh, he's from Delaware.
We're going to reform corporate taxes so they pay their fair share and help pay for the public investments their businesses will benefit from as well.
Nobody benefits from more taxes. Just saying. Putting that out there. Taxes are bullshit.
We're going to reward work, not just wealth.
And they pay for the wars.
We take the top tax bracket for the wealthiest 1% of Americans, those making over $400,000 or more, back up to where it was when George W. Bush was president, when he started.
Ew.
39.6%. That's where it was when...
Oh, I forgot they
George
like
W. was
Bush now.
president. We're going to get rid of the loopholes, allow Americans to make more than $1 million a year and pay a lower tax rate on their capital gains than Americans who receive a paycheck.
What?
We're only going to affect 0.3% of all Americans by that action. 0.3%. And the IRS is going to crack down on millionaires and billionaires who cheat on their taxes. It's estimated to be billions of dollars by think tanks of left, right, and center. I'm not looking to punish anybody. But I will not add a tax burden, additional tax burden to the middle class in this country. They're already paying enough. I believe what I propose.
They shouldn't pay at all. That's the solution. No taxes. No one's ever going to do that. I know, I'm not stupid. But that's the solution.
Grow the economy and enhance.
That's equality. No one pays.
When you hear someone say they don't
Taxes
want to
were
raise
supposed to be
taxes on
temporary,
1%,
remember?
or corporate America,
Haha.
ask them whose taxes you want to raise.
None.
Instead,
Get rid of
they're
them.
going to cut.
Oh, somebody's sick.
A big tax cut of 27.
Somebody got the corona. Get out of here.
Remember, it was supposed to pay for itself.
Go hang out in the
That was
hall.
how it was sold. And generate vast economic growth.
And by the way, they probably did that in their mask, which is
Instead,
super gross, but
It
whatever.
added $2 trillion to the deficit. It was a huge windfall for corporate America and those at the very top. Instead of using the tax saving to raise wages and invest in research and development, it poured billions of dollars into the pockets of CEOs.
That's the
In
point.
fact, the pay gap between CEOs and their workers is now among the largest in history. According to one study, CEOs make 320 times what the average worker in their corporation makes.
How much did
Used
they
to
make
be,
during the pandemic?
below
We gonna talk about that? No? Cool.
The pandemic has only made things worse. 20 million Americans lost their job in the pandemic.
Oh, he is gonna mention
Working
that.
middle class Americans. At the same time,
But in order to raise taxes.
roughly 650 billionaires in America saw their net worth increase by more than $1 trillion.
Which
at
was the
same time period.
point of the
Let me
whole
say it again.
thing.
650
That was
people
the point.
increased their wealth by
That didn't
more than
happen
$1
by
trillion
accident.
during this
It was
pandemic.
planned that way.
And they're
they
now worth
always
more than $4 trillion.
Prosper.
My fellow Americans, trickle down economics has never worked. And it's time to grow the economy from the bottom and the middle out.
What does that even mean? Has that ever worked? Has capitalism ever worked? You could say no.
You know,
Obviously,
there's a broad
communism
consensus
doesn't really
of
work
economists,
either.
left, right, and center,
I'm not
and they agree.
saying that.
What I'm proposing will help create
No ism
millions
works.
of jobs and generate historic economic growth. These are among the highest values investments we can make as a nation. I've often said, our greatest strength is the power of our example, not just the example of our power. In my
When have you
conversations
ever
with
said
world
that?
leaders, I've
I've
spoken
literally
over
never heard him
38,
say that
40 of
until
them
now.
I've made it known.
Okay.
I've made it known
Maybe he said it to Congress.
that America's back. You know what they say? The comment I hear most of all from them?
What about
They
Yemen?
say, we see America's back.
What about the
But
migrants
for how long?
at the border?
But for how long?
What
My
about...
fellow Americans,
Dude, that dude is sick.
we have to
Get the
show
fuck out of the
not just
room.
that we're back, but we're back
They're
to
all
stay,
old, though, so...
and that we aren't going to go
That's
alone.
just the truth. I'm not being mean. A lot of them are old,
We're gonna do it
so
by
they have
leading with our
COPD or
allies.
whatever kind of issues.
No one nation can deal with all the crises of our time.
So I'm
from
being
terrorism,
facetious.
nuclear proliferation,
I'm not
mass migration,
serious about
cybersecurity,
saying they're sick
climate change,
with
as
corona.
well as what we're experiencing now, pandemics.
I'll let that one go.
There's no wall high enough to keep any virus out.
Let the show go on.
And our own vaccine supply, as it grows to meet our needs, and we're meeting them,
It doesn't meet my needs.
will become an arsenal for vaccines for other countries, just as America was an arsenal for democracy for the world.
If that's true, I fear for the world. What the fuck? This is the worst democracy I've ever seen. Also, it's not. Never
Every
was.
American
And that's a myth.
will have access before that occurs. Every American will have access
Okay.
to be fully covered by COVID-19 from the vaccines we have.
Oh, that was a close one.
Look, the climate crisis
I'll let it go.
is not our fight alone, it's a global fight. The United States
For the
accounts, as
globalists.
all of you know, less than 15% of carbon emissions. The rest of the world accounts for 85%. That's why I kept my commitment to rejoin the Paris Accord, because if we do everything perfectly,
That was a mistake. We'll see
it's
that
not going to
soon.
only matter.
Why?
I kept my commitment to convene a climate summit right here in America with all the major economies of the world. China, Russia, India, European Union. I said I'd do it in my first 100 days. I want to be very blunt about it. I had, my attempt was to make sure
That was a
that the world could
pause.
see there was a consensus, that we are at an inflection point in history.
He loves that
Consensus-
word.
Consensus is if we act to save the planet, we can create millions of jobs.
Jobs
and
again.
economic growth and
Guys, we're going to have so
raise the
many
standard of
jobs.
living almost
Get
everywhere
ready for
around
the
world.
jobs.
If you watched any of it and you were all busy, I'm sure you didn't have much time. That's
Busy
what
doing
virtually
what?
every nation said, even the ones that aren't doing their
What do they
fair share.
do?
The investments I propose tonight also advance the foreign policy.
There it
in my
is.
view, that benefits the middle class. That means making sure every nation plays by the same rules in the global economy, including China. In my discussion with President Xi, I told him, we welcome the competition. We're not looking for conflict. But I made absolutely clear that we will defend America's interest across the board.
Oh, yeah.
America will
Not
stand
ours.
up to unfair trade practices that undercut
America's.
and
The
American
Corporation
industries
of
like
America.
subsidies from state to state-owned operations and enterprises, and the theft of American technology and intellectual property. I also told President Xi that we'll maintain a strong military presence in the Indo-Pacific, just as we do with NATO and Europe. Not to start a conflict, but to prevent one.
Honestly, I think the reason he says she so much is because he actually knows how to pronounce that. And he doesn't know how to pronounce his last name. I don't think it's because he's really close with
What I've
him.
said to many
Although he
world
probably
leaders,
is.
that America will not back away from our commitments. Our commitment to human rights and fundamental freedoms.
Since when the
and
fuck
our
do they care about
alliances.
human rights? Look at Julian
I
Assange.
pointed out to him,
Okay.
no responsible
Sure,
American
Jan.
president could remain silent when basic human rights are being so blatantly violated. An American president has to represent the essence of what our country stands
Okay,
for.
he just said president twice, so
America is an
I'm
idea.
tipping.
The most unique idea in history. We are created,
What?
all of us equal.
No, we're not.
It's who we are. And
Clearly
we
we're
cannot
not.
walk away from that principle. And in fact say,
Why is he yelling?
we're dealing with the American idea.
So awkward.
With regard to Russia, I know it concerns some of you, but I made very clear to Putin that we're not going to seek
Oh, there it is.
escalation.
That's a double sip.
But their actions will have consequences. They turn out to be true, and they turned out to be true.
But not ours.
so
not
I
the
responded
US.
directly, proportionally, to Russia's
Everyone
interference
else.
in our elections and the cyber attacks on our government. and
Oh
our
yeah,
business.
the U.S.
They
can
did
interfere in
both
any election they
of
want,
these
and no one
things.
else.
And I told them we would
Specifically
respond, and
Russia.
we have. But we can also cooperate when it's our mutual interest. We did it when we extended the New START Treaty on nuclear arms, and we're working to do it on climate change. But he understands we will respond. On Iran and North Korea, nuclear programs that present serious threats to
It only
American
took
security and
46
the
minutes
security
to
of
get
the
to
world.
foreign policy
We're
shit.
going to be working closely with our allies
The war
to
mongering.
address the threats posed by both of these countries.
What about the threats-
diplomacy as well as stern
Oh, that's another slip.
deterrence. And American leadership means ending the
sip.
forever war in Afghanistan. We have-
You know, on September 11th. Just for fun. Not in May, when it was supposed to be.
We have, without hyperbole, the greatest fighting force in the history of the world.
That's why you
I'm
kill
the first
everybody.
president in 40
Got
years
it.
who knows what it means to have a son serving in a war zone. Today we have service members serving in the same war zone as their parents did. We have
And that's
service members
normalized.
in Afghanistan who are not yet born on 9/11. The war in Afghanistan, as we remember the debates here, were never meant to be multi-generational undertakings of nation building.
They never
went to
mean for that,
Afghanistan
do
to
they?
get
But
terrorists.
that always seems
The
to be the
terrorists
case.
attacked us
What
on
about Iraq,
9/11.
bitch? When you into that
And
war?
we said we would
Never?
follow
Okay.
Osama bin Laden to the gates of hell.
The
to
fuck?
do it. If you've been in the upper Konar Valley, you've kind of seen the gates of hell. And we delivered justice to bin Laden. We degraded the terrorist threat of Al-Qaeda in Afghanistan.
I don't think justice
And
is
after 20 years of
extrajudicial
valor
murder.
and
But okay.
sacrifice, it's time
If you want to
bring
call it
those
that.
troops home.
More like revenge, but okay.
Look,
That's some movie shit. They did some movie shit. Or
even as
pretended
we
to
will
do movie
maintain
shit. We don't know the whole
overriding
story.
capacity to suppress future threats to the homeland.
What?
And make no mistake, in 20 years,
You wanna try that sentence again?
terrorism has metastasized. The threat has evolved way beyond Afghanistan.
So it's like a cancer.
Those of you in the intelligence committees, the foreign relations committee, defense committees, you know well, we have to remain vigilant against the threats to the United States wherever they come from.
Even from within.
Al-Qaeda and ISIS
Right?
are in Yemen,
No?
Syria, Somalia,
Fuck you for
other
mentioning Yemen.
places in Africa, the Middle East, and beyond. And we won't ignore what our intelligence agencies have determined to be the most lethal terrorist threat to the homeland today.
People.
White supremacy is terrorism.
Yep.
We're not going to ignore that either.
Just regular people.
My fellow Americans, look, we have to come together to heal the soul of this nation. It was nearly a year ago.
I thought you were
before
supposed to
the
do that
Florida
on your own, sir.
shooting, when I spoke with Gianna Floyd, George Floyd's young daughter.
Oh, here we go.
She's a little tyke, so I was kneeling down to talk to her.
Ew, creepy. He does like the
So
little
I could
ones,
look
doesn't
her
he?
in the eye. She looked at me, she said, "My daddy changed the world." Well,
Not for the better, but
after the
okay.
conviction of George Floyd's murderer,
And neither did Derek, let's
we
be
can
honest.
see how right she was if we have the courage to act as a Congress. We've all seen the knee of injustice on the neck of black Americans. Now's our opportunity
Just black
to
ones.
make some real progress. The vast majority of men and women wearing a uniform and a badge serve our communities, and they serve them honorably.
That's not true.
I know.
It's just plain
I
not
know
true.
they want-
It should be obvious now that that's not true. Not just with the black people, but Latinos and Asians and white people. All kinds of people get fucked by cops and killed by cops.
We want to help meet this moment as well. My fellow Americans, we have to come together to rebuild trust between law enforcement and the people they serve. To root
No.
out systemic racism.
There's
and
no trust
criminal
between the
justice
state
system.
and the
to
people.
enact police reform in George Floyd's name.
That's not how that
That
works.
passed the House already. I know Republicans have their own ideas.
Take away their
They're engaged in
military
very productive discussions with Democrats in the Senate. We need to work together to
grade
find a consensus.
weapons and
But let's get it done
shields
next
and
month,
shit.
by the first anniversary
And
of
trucks,
George Floyd's
tanks
death.
and shit. No police force should have a tank if they're protecting the public.
The country supports this reform, and Congress should act.
I support demilitarizing.
Giant
Damn it.
opportunity to bend
Demilitarizing
the
the
arc of a moral
police.
universe toward
That's
justice, real
the
justice.
issue.
And with the plans
Better
outlined
training.
tonight, we have a real chance to root out
Better police.
systemic racism that plagues America.
No union
and American
for
life
them.
in other ways.
'Cause that's not
A
working.
chance to deliver real equity.
They protect each other.
Good jobs, good schools, affordable
Through their
housing, clean air, clean
brotherhood.
water, being able to generate wealth and
Their
pass it
fraternity.
down through generations because you have an access to purchase a house. Real opportunities in the lives of more Americans, black, white, Latino, Asian Americans, Native Americans. Look, I also want to thank the United States Senate
Of course you
for
do.
voting 94-1 to pass the COVID-19 Hate Crimes Act to protect Asian American and Pacific Islanders.
That's so weird to me how they like
Decisively.
targeted one group like that.
You can see on television.
How about no hate
viciousness
crimes
of the
for
hate
anyone?
crimes
Yeah?
We've seen over the
Jewish,
past year,
white,
past year and for
black,
too long.
Asian.
I urge the House to do the same
Latino,
and send that legislation to
nothing.
my desk, which I will gladly,
That'd be nice.
anxiously sign.
Also, like, how do they
I
enforce
also
that?
hope Congress will get to my desk.
Is there like,
Equality
is it a
Act to
felony
protect
now?
LGBT
I don't know enough about it. So.
For all transgender Americans watching.
Was it always a felony? I don't know anything about hate crimes.
So brave. I want you to know.
I feel like hate crimes are really hard to delineate
Another thing.
or to figure
Let's
out
authorize the Violence Against Women
if that's
Act, which has
actually
been
what
on for
happened.
27 years.
Just like hate speech. It's like, how do you define that?
27 years ago, I wrote it.
I would define it as violent
It'll
speech.
close the act that has to be authorized
Speech,
now. Will close
including
the boyfriend
death
loophole.
threats.
To keep guns out of the hands of abusers. The
That's
court
hateful.
order said this is an abuser. You can't own a gun. It's to close that loophole.
How about the FBI start actually doing their jobs? Oh wait, they don't really do that anymore.
50 women
And keeping people
are
from
shot and killed
getting access to guns
by an
who are on their
partner
list.
every month in
There's an
America.
idea.
50 a month. Let's pass it and save some lives.
Let's pass a ban bombs bill. See how that goes. Ban bombs before guns, please. Thank you.
I need not tell anyone this, but gun violence has become an epidemic in America.
Bomb violence has also.
The flag at the White House
Through
was still flying
America
at half-mast
to other countries.
for the 8 victims of the mass shooting in Georgia. When 10 more lives
When
were
did they do
taken
that
in
for
mass
the
shooting in Colorado.
victims in Yemen and Iraq
week
and
in between
Afghanistan and
those two
everywhere else we are
250 other
children
Americans
get
were
murdered
shot dead in the streets of America.
daily
250 shot dead.
by the U.S. military?
I know how hard it is to make progress on this issue.
They don't do anything about
In
that.
the 90s, we passed universal background
They ignore it.
checks.
They
A ban
ignore
on
it.
assault weapons and high-capacity magazines that hold 100 rounds that can be fired.
You shouldn't
off
have
in
nuclear
seconds.
codes. There, I said it.
We beat the NRA. Mass
Shouldn't have
shootings
access
and
to
gun violence
nuclear
declined.
weapons.
Check out the report over 10 years.
Get rid of your nuclear weapons and then
But in the
talk
early
about violence.
2000s, the law expired. We've seen daily bloodshed since. I'm not
They
saying
just
if
wanna
the law
take
continued, we wouldn't see bloodshed. More than 2
Guns
weeks ago,
away
the
from
Rose Garden,
citizens so that they
surrounded
can't fight
by
back
some of the bravest people I know,
against the
survivors
tyranny
and families who lost loved
that they
ones to gun
experience
violence.
from the government.
I laid out several of the Department of Justice actions that are being taken to impact on this epidemic. One of them is banning so-called ghost guns.
The fuck is a ghost
These are
gun?
homemade guns built from a kit that includes directions how to finish the firearm.
What?
The parts have no serial numbers, so they show up at crime scenes and they can't be traced. The buyers of these ghost gun kits aren't required to pass any background check. Anyone, from a criminal or terrorist, could buy this kit and within 30 minutes have a weapon that's lethal.
This is particularly interesting coming from a guy who was from the
I'll do everything in my power to
administration
protect the
that
American
had
people
Fast
from
and
this epidemic
Furious.
of gun violence,
I'll link
but
to
it's
that
time
below.
for Congress to act as well.
Fast and Furious was a gun walking scandal during the Obama regime. While Obama's like crying over kids dying, he's selling guns to cartels.
I don't want to become confrontational, but we need more Senate Republicans to join the overwhelming majority of Democratic colleagues and close the loopholes required in background check purchases of guns. We need a ban on assault weapons and high-capacity magazines.
We need to ban
It
bombs!
can't be done. We did it before and it worked.
Nuclear ones.
Talk to most responsible gun owners and hunters. They'll tell you there's no possible justification for having 100 rounds in a weapon. What do you think, deer wearing Kevlar vests? They'll tell you that there are too many people today who are able to buy a gun, but shouldn't be able to buy a gun. These kinds of reasonable reforms have overwhelming support from the American people, including many gun owners. The country supports reform and Congress should act. This shouldn't be a red or blue issue. And no amendment to the Constitution is absolute. You can't yell fire in a crowded theater. From the very beginning, there are certain guns,
I mean, you
weapons
can,
that could not be owned
but
by
not without
Americans.
consequences.
Certain people could not own
And also the government
those
does that all the
weapons
time with this
ever.
COVID shit. So, fuck off.
We're not changing the Constitution. We're being reasonable. I think this is not a Democratic
Saying that
Republican
it's
issue. I
one
think
of
it's
the
an
worst
American issue.
pandemics we've seen in this
Here's what else
century.
we can do.
is absolutely ridiculous.
Immigration has always been essential to America.
Less than 1% of people
Let's
die
end
from
our exhausting
COVID-19.
war of immigration.
Just fact check
For more
there.
than 30 years, politicians have talked about
Probably
immigration
even less
reform,
than
and we've
what
done
we
nothing about
expect
it.
because of the
It's time
PCR
to fix
tests
it.
having false positives a
On
lot
day
of the
one of
time.
my presidency, I kept my commitment and sent a comprehensive immigration bill to the United States Congress. If you believe we need to secure the border, pass it because it has a lot of money for high-tech border.
You haven't even gone to the border.
If you
I
believe in a
can't with this
pathway to
idiot.
citizenship, pass it. So we're
I would say that I would agree with that if you actually put any effort into visiting the border and solving this crisis.
Take a close look at it.
Ted Cruz is like, are you fucking kidding me?
Problem of why people are fleeing, particularly the
And he looks like he's falling asleep.
Guatemala, Honduras, and El
I get it.
Salvador. The violence,
Also,
the
you're Ted
corruption, the
Cruz,
gangs,
so
the political
shut up.
instability, hunger, hurricanes, earthquakes, natural
You suck.
disasters. When I was president, when I was vice president, the
Oh,
president asked me to focus on
that was a
providing help
mistake.
needed to address the
Sipping.
root causes of migration.
You were
And
not
to help
president.
keep people in their own countries instead of being forced to leave. The plan was working, but the last administration decided it was not worth it. I'm restoring
What did the one
program
before
and
that
asked
do?
Vice President Harris to lead our diplomatic effort to take care
Where'd
of
the
this.
cages come from,
I
Joe?
have absolute confidence you'll get the job.
Who built the cages?
Now look,
Who started this whole shit?
if you don't like my plan,
I don't like you.
let's at least pass what we all agree on. Congress
Oh yeah,
needs
this
to
isn't
pass
for me.
legislation
I keep forgetting that he's talking to
finally
his
secure
friends.
protection for dreamers. The young people
Yeah, they're all friends, no matter how much they pretend they're not. And they laugh at us as they steal all of our rights away, which weren't rights to begin with. They can be stolen.
Beset by man-made and natural-made violence and disaster, as well as a pathway to citizenship for farm workers who put food on our tables.
Pathway to citizen. I'm gonna sip on that.
Immigrants have done so much for America during this pandemic and throughout our history. The country supports immigration reform. We should act. Let's argue over it. Let's debate it. But let's act.
That's all you do.
If we truly want to restore the soul of America, we need to protect the sacred right to vote.
Oh dear.
Most people,
I saw a dude with 2 masks on. I can't.
more people voted in the last presidential election than any time in American history.
Allegedly.
In the middle of the worst pandemic
I
ever.
highly doubt that, but okay.
It should be celebrated. Instead, it's being attacked.
This has 8.8 thousand
Congress should pass
dislikes
HR 1
and
John Lewis
2.8
voting
thousand
on
likes
Send it to my desk
on
right away.
CNBC television's
The country
YouTube
supports it,
channel.
and Congress should act now. Look,
Congress should do a lot of things
as
and
we
they
gather
don't,
here
so
tonight, the
whatever.
image of a violent mob assaulting this Capitol, desecrating our democracy, remain vivid in all our
That
minds.
is not what happened.
Lives were put at risk, many of your lives.
There's no such thing as democracy,
Lives were
so you
lost.
can't decimate it.
Extraordinary courage was
And
summoned.
also, they were let in, so fuck
The
off.
insurrection was an existential crisis.
Worst
a
insurrection
test
ever.
of whether our democracy could survive, and it did. But the struggle is far from over. The question of whether our democracy will long endure is both ancient and urgent. As old as
Like
our
you?
republic. Still,
I
light
am
of the
sorry.
day. Can our democracy deliver on its promise that all of us, created equal in the image of God, had a chance to lead lives of dignity,
Why do you gotta bring God
respect, and
into it? These
possibility?
politicians
Can
bringing
our
God all the
democracy
time. No matter if it's a
deliver
Democrat or a
most
Republican, it's always
pressing
God, God,
needs of our
God.
people?
Not everybody
Can our
believes in
democracy
God.
overcome the
Where's
lies,
your
anger, hate,
respect
and
for
fears
people who don't
that
believe in
pull us
God?
apart? America's adversaries, the autocrats of the world, are betting we can't. And I promise you they're betting we can't. They believe we're too full of anger and division and rage.
We are.
They look at the images of the
I mean,
mob
you
that
are.
assaulted the Capitol as proof that the sun is setting on American democracy.
There's no
But they're
such
wrong.
thing.
You know it, I know it. But we have to prove them wrong. We have to prove democracy still works, that our government still
It
works. and we
doesn't.
can
It never
deliver
did. It
for
doesn't
our people.
exist. Stop saying shit that's
In our
not
first
true.
100 days together, we've acted to restore people's faith in democracy to deliver. We're vaccinating the nation. We're creating hundreds of thousands
That's
of
not
new
democracy.
jobs. We're delivering real results to people. They can see it, feel it in their own lives.
I can
Opening doors of
feel the
opportunity,
poverty
guaranteeing some more fairness and justice. That's the essence of
from not
America.
having a job
That's
anymore.
democracy in action. Our
In action.
Constitution opens with the words as trite as it sounds. We the people.
This one, I
It's
heard
time
this
to remember
before.
that we the people are the government.
It's not the government. We the people are the people. You're not the people. Stop fucking
Not some powerful force
appropriating
we have no
us,
control over. It's us.
our thing. It's not
we the
you,
people.
it's us. Fuck off.
Another era when our democracy was
You do
tested.
what we
Franklin
tell you to
Roosevelt
do.
reminded
Now you're
us
saying
in
in
America,
public
we do
what you
our
think
part.
in private,
We all do our part.
that you are the government
That's all
and
I'm
you say what goes.
That we do our part, all of us.
And you're responsible
do
for
that,
everything. And
we'll meet
you're
the
going to
Senate
do what you're going to
challenge
do,
of the
and
age
we're
by
going to
proving
take it,
that
and we're going to
democracy
like
is
it.
durable
And that's
strong.
democracy to you. Because you're
Autocrats will not win the future. We
full of
will.
shit.
America will. And the future belongs
You're not
to
America. Fuck off.
As I stand here tonight before you in a new and vital hour of life and democracy of our nation,
He spat on this
I
mic
can
for
say
like
with absolute
over an hour
confidence,
now.
I have never been more confident or optimistic about America. Not because I'm president, because what's happening with the American people.
Because of your agenda.
We've stared into the abyss of insurrection and autocracy,
No, for fuck's
pandemic
sake.
and pain. And we, the
The
people,
abyss!
will not
Oh my
flinch.
gosh, this dude is in Pelosi's
Very
office.
moment
Oh
our
my
adversaries were
gosh.
certain we'd pull apart
They
and
went into
fail.
a building that
together,
represents the
reunited.
public, allegedly.
With light
but
and
not
hope,
really.
We summoned a new strength
Because we're not allowed in
resolve
there, apparently.
to position us to win the competition of the 21st century.
Because they're the people, not
On
us.
our way to a union more perfect,
Get it
more
straight.
prosperous, and more just. As one people, one nation, and one America. Folks, as I told every world leader I've ever met with over the years, it's never, ever, ever been a good bet to bet against America, and it still isn't. We're the United States of America. There's not a single thing,
Cue the national anthem.
nothing beyond our capacity.
Just kidding.
We can do whatever we set our minds to if we do it together. So let's begin to get together. God bless you all, and may God protect our troops. Thank you for your
God
patience.
doesn't give a shit about your troops. Sorry. God probably doesn't exist. Or why would this happen? Why would any of this be happening if God were a thing? It's not a good God if it is a God. Ooh, am I going there? I'm going there. I mean, you can believe whatever you want. Shut up, Shep. But, you know, listening to that, I think they are talking about a different God than what we perceive as God. The people. We the people who are not in the government. So that was the whole thing. I was not planning on reacting to this whole goddamn thing until I just thought of it today. That's improv for you. So I hope that was enjoyable for anyone. Or, okay, I will say some things about it. That this is a speech. There are a lot of speeches. Oh, by the way, I went past the halfway mark for the sipping for the water. The water is at very below half. It's definitely less than halfway empty. It's almost empty, basically, because he fucks up so much. But it's still one of his less annoying fuck-ups. Like, his fuck-ups weren't as prevalent as in the past speeches that he's made. So they probably gave him a good drug or something to keep him able to speak a little bit. I'll just keep drinking this water. But, and now it's warm. But what I got out of that was speech, saying shit that people want to hear, but not saying the whole thing that you're trying to say, and also threatening countries in a polite way, I guess. Hey, we don't want to escalate, but we will escalate. But we can't even say escalate, but we will do that. just applause. Like, every time one of these happens, they applaud like crazy. Even with Trump, there were Democrats applauding like crazy, which shows how bullshit the whole thing is. The political theater that is like the right and the left going at each other. They don't give a shit. They are bipartisan where it counts, when it's to take our money away and send it to the military. They love that. They love to like approve horrible torture measures and stuff. And the Patriot Act happened because Democrats agreed with it. So that's the thing. And then the vaccination thing. This is the vaccination thing. There's no informed consent. So I did a whole Twitter thread recently and did a lot of research into the SEC filings of Pfizer, Moderna, and the other one, Johnson & Johnson. And I showed like the issues with them, like the legal issues that are stemming from cases involving Johnson & Johnson. And also Pfizer apparently has investigations internally through the government, like government regulation problems with several of their products. And, you know, the new one would be Moderna, and I just showed what the mRNA vaccine is. So specifically, like, I could like do like a little excerpt from that. And I will put like that in the show notes and everything. So hold on one moment while I get that information from that thread I did. So, okay. So, here's the information on the mRNA vaccine. So, you can be very informed before sticking that shit in yourself, if you haven't already. So, these are like the main points here that are on their website. On the SEC filing for the quarterly report of June 30th. Is it June 30th? Let me check. June 30th, 2020. So it would be from there. Let's see. It's from the Edgar system on the SEC site. And I got this through TLAV. So The Last American Vagabond did a broadcast about spike proteins in the vaccine, which is the new virus. That's so not funny. I should not laugh. But June 30th, 2020. Yeah. So Ryan did a whole report about it. I love Ryan. I follow Ryan on Twitter, and he's a cool dude. And he was doing all this information. He was sharing the links or whatever, and one of the links was to this document. So anyway, here's what the document says about the mRNA drug. Not vaccine. They say drug here, so I'm just saying. So they say, no mRNA drug has been approved in this new potential class of medicines and may never be approved as a result of efforts by others or us, Moderna. mRNA drug development has substantial clinical development and regulatory risks due to the novel and unprecedented nature of this new class of medicines. As a potential new class of medicines, and I guess this would also apply to the Pfizer vaccine, which is also an mRNA vaccine, or a drug. So it applies to both of them. No mRNA medicines, that's what they say, have been approved to date by the FDA or other regulatory agency. Successful discovery and development of mRNA medicines by either us or our strategic collaborators, Bill Gates, is highly uncertain and depends on numerous factors, many of which are beyond our or their control. We have made and will continue to make a series of business decisions and take calculated risks to advance our development efforts and pipeline. Also, read as, you know what, if people die, if people get sick, it's worth it, because as they say in the press all the time, the benefits outweigh the risks, right? The benefits outweigh the risks. So if there are risks, oh well, we got to do it, because this isn't a virus and we got to get rid of it, even though there's a less than 1% chance of dying from it. Anyway, back to it. Including those related to mRNA technology, delivery technology, and manufacturing processes, which may be shown to be incorrect based on further work by us, our strategic collaborators, or others. Prior to the Phase 3 trial for mRNA 1273 and that of one other company, there has never been a Phase 3 trial in which mRNA is the primary active ingredient, and there has never been, and there may never be, a commercialized product in which mRNA is the primary active ingredient. Our mRNA investigational medicines that appear promising in the early phases of development may fail to advance, experience delays in the clinic, experience clinical holds, or fail to reach the market for many reasons, including, a whole bunch of other stuff. Adverse effects in any of one of our clinical programs, or adverse effects relating to our mRNA or our lipid nanoparticles, or LNPs, may lead to delays in or termination of one or more of our programs. But it didn't, because they just ignored it and moved on. Changes that we make to optimize our manufacturing, testing, or formulating of cGMP materials could impact the safety, tolerability, and efficacy of our investigational medicines and development candidates. Pricing or reimbursement issues or other factors that delay clinical trials or make any mRNA medicine uneconomical or non-competitive with other therapies. So they have a whole list of things. Those are just the ones that stood out to me. Oh, wait, here's another one. Non-clinical or preclinical study results may show potential mRNA medicines to be less effective than desired or to have harmful or problematic side effects. So, yeah. And then failure to timely advance our programs or receive the necessary regulatory approvals, or a delay in receiving such approvals due to, among other reasons, slow or failure to complete enrollment in clinical trials, withdrawal by trial participants from trials, failure to achieve trial endpoints, additional time requirements for data analysis, data integrity issues, biologics, license application or BLA, or the equivalent application, discussions with the FDA or EMA, a regulatory request for additional non-clinical or clinical data, or safety, formulation, or manufacturing issues may lead to our inability to obtain sufficient funding and the proprietary rights of others and their competing products and technologies that may prevent our mRNA medicines from being commercialized. They go on to say, currently mRNA is considered a gene therapy, which is what we've been saying this whole time, product by the FDA. Not a vaccine, guys. It's a gene therapy product. All right. Unlike certain gene therapies that irreversibly alter cell DNA and could act as a source of side effects, mRNA-based medicines are designed to not irreversibly change cell DNA. However, side effects observed in gene therapy could negatively impact the perception of mRNA medicines, despite the differences in mechanism. In addition, because no product in which mRNA is the primary active ingredient has been approved, the regulatory pathway for approval is uncertain. The number and design of the clinical trials and preclinical studies required for the approval of these types of medicines have not been established, may be different from those required for gene therapy products, or may require safety testing like gene therapy products. Moreover, the length of time necessary to I don't know why. I guess that was the end of that one. But basically the whole thing was it's not a vaccine. It's basically gene therapy, but it's a little bit, it's novel, and and it's not FDA approved. And yet we're putting it on the market right after clinical trials that weren't very extensive, but hey, whatever. And then here we go with another part. Clinical development is lengthy and uncertain, especially with a new class of medicines such as mRNA medicines. Clinical trials of our investigational medicines may be delayed, and certain programs may never advance in the clinic or may be more costly to conduct than we anticipate, any of which could affect our ability to obtain and maintain sufficient funding and would have a material adverse impact on our platform or our business. So I think they're going to be fine on the funding because they got Gates money, so which is also in this SEC filing, I believe. Yeah, they all have the funding and stuff. So I don't know what that's about. Maybe they're just worried because they're new to the market or whatever. Clinical testing is expensive and complex and can take many years to complete. Did you hear that? Many years. And yet they did not do that. They did it in months. And even if this was all planned, it wouldn't have been enough time to have the tests. Also, how the fuck are you going to have tests for a virus that doesn't necessarily exist? So even if you take into effect that this was probably all planned, they couldn't do the clinical trials that quickly, no matter what, because it would just tip everyone off. And not everyone's going to keep their mouth shut. Even if you threaten to kill them, somebody's going to say something, and then they'll die. But which happened with the COVID thing, because like remember that doctor who spoke out and died. Anyway, 30-something, but whatever, it's fine. Clinical testing is expensive and complex and can take many years to complete, and its outcome is inherently uncertain. We may not be able to initiate, may experience delays in, or may have to discontinue clinical trials for our investigational medicines. We and our strategic collaborators also may experience numerous unforeseen events during or as a result of any clinical trials that we or our strategic collaborators conduct that could delay or prevent us from our strategic collaborators from successfully developing our investigational medicines, including the FDA, other regulators, institutional review boards, or IRBs, or ethics committees may not authorize us or our investigators to commence a clinical trial or conduct a clinical trial at a prospective trial site for any number of reasons, including concerns regarding safety and aspects of the clinical trial design. We may experience delays in reaching or fail to reach agreement on favorable terms with prospective trial sites and prospective CROs, the terms of which can be subject to extensive negotiation and may vary significantly among different CROs and trial sites. And then it continues to go down the list of like what could hinder their progress or whatever. Then we go to the number of trial participants required for clinical trials of any investigational medicines may be larger than we anticipate. Identification of trial participants for such trials may be limited. Enrollment in these clinical trials may be slower than we anticipate due to perceived adverse effects, competitive trials, size of the patient population, or other reasons, or participants may withdraw from clinical trials or fail to return for post-treatment follow-up at a higher rate than we anticipate. Our third-party contractors may fail to comply with regulatory requirements or meet their contractual obligations to us in a timely manner, or at all, or may deviate from the clinical trial protocol or withdraw from the trial, which may require that we add new clinical trial sites. Regulators may elect to impose a clinical hold, or we or our investigators, IRBs, or ethics committees may elect to suspend or terminate clinical research or trials for various reasons, including noncompliance with regulatory requirements or a finding that the participants are being exposed to unacceptable benefit-risk ratio. So those are just a couple of the things about this. This says at the end of what I shared, they go to talk about the FDA. And then it says, many of the factors that cause or lead to a delay in the commencement or completion of clinical trials may also ultimately lead to the denial of regulatory approval of our investigational medicines. We must also complete extensive CMC activities that require extensive manufacturing processes and analytical development, which is uncertain and lengthy. For instance, batch failures as we scale up our manufacturing have occurred and may continue to occur. In addition, we have in the past and may in the future have difficulty identifying appropriate buffers and storage conditions to enable sufficient shelf life of batches of our clinical development candidates or investigational medicines. If we are required to produce new batches of our development candidates or investigational medicines due to insufficient shelf life, it may delay the commencement or completion of clinical trials of such development candidates or investigational medicines. Moreover, the FDA has indicated that prior to commencing later stage clinical trials for our programs, we will need to develop assays to measure and predict the potency of a given dose of our investigational medicines. Any delay in developing assays that are acceptable to the FDA or other regulators could delay the start of the future clinical trials. Further, the FDA or other regulatory authorities may disagree with our clinical trial design and our interpretation of data for our clinical trials, or may change the requirements for approval even after they have reviewed and commented on the design for our clinical trials. Significant preclinical or non-clinical testing and studies or clinical trial delays for our investigational medicines also could allow our competitors to bring products to market before we do, potentially impairing our ability to successfully commercialize our investigational medicines and harming our business and results of operations. Any delays in the development of our investigational medicines may harm our business, financial condition, and prospects significantly. Again, all about money, all about profit, all about the business. And you'll see that in the SEC filings. They cannot hide that information because they're showing it as like the financials. The financial information is there. So yeah, I'll link that below. What else do I want to talk to you about today? Let's see my topics. Okay, we did the vaccines. We did the Oscars. Okay, so the Oscars happened. We'll go over that really quickly because we have spent a lot of time talking about everything. Listening to the president. So important to do that. And judging him. So the Oscars happened not in Hollywood. No. This time they went to Union Station, where there's a whole lot of homeless people. Vagabonds, as I like to call them. And they moved the vagabonds out so that they could hold the show that nobody really watched. That less than 10 million people, or was it 10 million people? The lowest ratings of all time. Well, of the last few years of the Oscars. The lowest ratings in the last few years of the Oscars. Maybe a decade. I can't remember. But yeah, it's a shit show. It was a shit show to even read about all of that happening. And then they gave the fucking Oscar for the best picture to Nomadland. And you know, Nomadland is one of my favorites, but not my favorite. My favorite was Sound of Metal. And I don't think I even looked up the nominations or whatever beforehand. Maybe I did. I don't remember. But I wasn't really that invested in the Oscars this year as I was in the past. But anyway, yeah. Let's get the information. USA Today, I have that all-time low, dropping 56% Oscars ratings. This is from April 27, 2021. It says here 23.6 million viewers last year, and now down by 6 million this year. And the show claimed just 2.1% of adults aged 18 to 49, down from 5.3% last year. Last month's Grammy Awards also claimed just 9.2 million viewers, about half of its 2020 total. Golden Globes had 6.9 million, down 64%, and September's Emmys fell from 6.1 million to 6.1 million from 6.9 million in 2019, according to this article, which I will link below. So anyway, that was a shit show. It was a mistake. Everything's a mistake until further notice. Life is a mistake. You know, it is what it is. But in other news, we're just going to gloss over the Oscars because that's not worth talking about. The recall for Gavin Newsom happened to materialize into an actual event that will happen soon. Not anytime soon, but in the future, at some point. The roommate's back. And I wanted to be done by now, but no, here we are. So basically, I signed the recall petition. I'm not going to lie. I don't want Caitlyn Jenner to be my governor. That would be a step down. Or not a step down, but a step to the side. I mean, I don't know. Gavin thinks he's a celebrity. And she actually is a celebrity. And yet she's celebrated after having killed a person in a car. So I don't think she should be anywhere near politics. I mean, do what you want to do, but don't ask for money. Like, that's my thing with the celebrities going out for office. You have money. Shut the fuck up. Just stop asking for money. That's such a money laundering scheme, I think. So I don't like that. Oh, Clear. We talked about Clear in the past. And they're using it to do the whole vaccination thing. Vaccine passport thing. Because I told you that's going to be in the future. Like, the Clear was there for a reason in the airports and stuff. The biometric data using identification thing. And then now they're using it for the UFC, which, you know what? There are people in the indie media, I'm not going to mention their names. You think you can figure it out if you know who it is. They like UFC, and they talk about it all the time, and the mixed martial arts and all that stuff. I'm just going to put them on blast. You didn't think this was going to come to your thing? Bread and circuses is always going to be bread and circuses, and they're always going to have hoops to jump through for whatever venue you're going to. So whether it's a concert, or whether it's, what else it would be, whatever, baseball or basketball or football, any of those things, they're gonna make you jump through hoops to get in there and do the whole vaccine passport thing. So they're gonna do that in those venues, and they're also gonna do it with the UFC, because there's nothing is sacred anymore. Your entertainment is done. Like, you can enjoy whatever you enjoy. I enjoy a lot of things, but I know that there's an end point to it. I know that it's not going to be there forever. That's why I'm enjoying it so much. lately I'm enjoying Vincenzo, and after I get off this podcast episode, I'm going to watch the next episode of Vincenzo that I'm on, which is episode 16. I'm enjoying it so fucking much. It's like Korean Breaking Bad for me. Honestly. I love it so much. Korean and Italian Breaking Bad. So that was the topic I wanted to mention. Ghislaine Maxwell, we're not leaving that bitch out. So she was photographed in the White House in the 1993 with Bill Clinton and Jeffrey Epstein. So there's that going on. These pictures have resurfaced or whatever. Pictures that, honestly, the media probably had access to, but just hid away. For whatever reason. I don't know why they would do that, but, you know. This is a very long episode. I feel bad for giving you a really long episode, and then most of it is the president talking. And nobody wants that. I understand. But we're going to get through these topics. Believe me. Okay. So, Ghislaine Maxwell, still on trial, starting on July 12th. There's not been a delay. July 12th. I can't say 12th right. I think it's because my alignment's off today, which was another fun thing about today before the podcast. And I was like, oh great, my alignment. Because my jaw will move sometimes. It's a thing. That's a fun thing to talk about. But anyway, she's still alive, amazingly. So I doubt she'll get as much press as the Derek Chauvin trial did. Although I'm very glad that he had those charges against him and sentenced the way he was. And again, it's just one example. There's so many other things going on with police. Not even just like this sort of thing, but like they just really need to get their shit together. But I mean, the one who mistook a gun for a taser was the cream of the crop right there. But we'll see how that goes. I'm sure everything will fix itself right now. Now that he's been sacrificed, everyone else will fall in line. And nothing else will happen again. Except it didn't turn out that way. But Hollywood stuff. I guess Hollywood. I want to talk about Hollywood, I guess, a little bit. So Hollywood has had a lot of crimes growing up here. And even last night, there was like a helicopter. Even if I wanted to do a podcast, it would have a helicopter like searching for a dude from a car crash that was from a car chase or some shit at sunset and whatever. And I was just like, damn. And I was out in public because I was going to the police station because I used their ATM, or I used their ATM when they had it open. But I didn't know if it was available, so I went there one of these days last week, and this dude was there, and I just like commiserated with him over the helicopters, and he was like, yeah, that's like every day. And I was like, yeah, it was like at least 2 times a day. I was not even like joking, but that's how often. It was like way more than that. And I was like, yeah, it's like 4. It's like insane how much crime there is and how much surveillance there is in this area in the Hollywood Hills. And, you know, I sometimes, you know, I'm glad that I go outside and I don't get mugged or anything or stabbed or whatever. And then I come back and I see, or I'm not even thinking about that. And I'm just doing my thing and walking. And then I come back home and I see that there was a stabbing or there was assault of some sort. There was an assault with a briefcase at one point. I was like, okay, I guess we're just using anything that's around, huh? But at least that guy had a job, probably. Which is more than I can say for myself and a lot of the people in the LA area who are getting fucked by the EDD. So shout out to the EDD for fucking everybody with the pending payments and the shitty ID.me third-party creepo data collection service. Although, if I have to use them, I don't know. I don't know if I want to give them all my data. Like a face scan, that's a little much. Like you don't need all of that. You can have like the social security and you can have like the ID card. But anything else, you're just like, what are you doing at that point? You're not verifying my identity. You're just gathering information at that point. And it's super shady. I don't get it. But to each their own. And that's because of all the fraud that happened with the EDD. So, of course, that's going to happen because y'all gave everybody money for a long, long time and then got fucked. And then all these fraudulent things happened. And now we have to suffer. We are left to suffer. I've been waiting over 3 weeks, which is how long it's supposed to take for a new claim to go through. And nothing. No ID verification or anything yet. So that went well. No mail since the last mail that I got was like 5 days after or something. But dated on the same day that I filed. So yeah, that's basically what's happening in my neck of the woods. And so coming away from this, Oscars are stupid. The governor sucks, but I don't want Caitlyn Jenner. And I interviewed Major Williams, so, I mean, he was nice. I don't know him personally, but he was cool. I don't know if he's still in it to win it. But, yeah. That happened. So they got enough signatures is what I forgot to mention about the recall thing because I got interrupted. But they went over 1.6 million signatures. And they verified them, and now we will be able to recall the governor. But by the time we recall him, it's just going to be like, is it worth it? And they said it was like $4 million or something for the whole thing. I'm like, I don't know. I don't like wasting money any more than anyone else, but I also don't like taxes, so I think that would help a lot to alleviate some of our financial stress. And if, like, buildings that are decrepit and old could be opened to vagabonds or whatever, that'd be nice. And, so, basically coming away from this episode, I would say, like, what I want you to remember is the president is a corpse, and he says nice things sometimes, but that doesn't mean anything's going to happen. That's good. And Congress still sucks, so whatever. And then also, the COVID vaccines are gene therapy medicines, investigational medicines, according to the quarterly report from June 30th, 2020 by Moderna, which is the same technology used for the Pfizer vaccine, which is the one that my family members had been jabbed with, I believe. Not going to say which family members. It's none of anyone's business. But the fact that I have family members that are falling for this is very disheartening for me. But they know. I told them, your body, your choice. And I say that about everyone. But I also believe in informed consent, even if the government doesn't. And everyone should know what's being put in their bodies. I believe that. 100%. The spike protein information, I'll leave that in the show notes too. Since I mentioned T-Lab, I might as well share their little report. And then also all the other shit I gotta share. I think I'll share the SPARS document too, so let's go over that for a second. So the SPARS pandemic document is from 2017 from the Centers for Health Security people from Johns Hopkins who brought you the Event 201 and Dark Winter exercises. And in this one, they posit what is the name of it? St. Paul Acute Respiratory Syndrome Coronavirus. coming out of St. Paul, Minnesota, as if that would ever happen. And then moving towards the rest of the United States, and then the world. And then they talk about the vaccines there too, like this thing called Corovax, like Coronavax, and how people didn't believe in it. Well, there was a drug they mentioned, calcitrevir or whatever the fuck it's called, and I guess that's supposed to be like hydroxychloroquine, and then except if the government actually said take that. So then they take that drug, and then there's like a viral video with this kid vomiting or whatever. And then what happens is there's a lot of vaccine hesitancy and stuff, and like people talking about Tuskegee and everything with CDC, and the Muslims are against it, and the African American people who were experimented on don't like it, and like religious zealots or whatever, and then like anti-vaccine people, just anti-vaccine people in general. And then they have like social media, and they're like talking on social media about it and getting everybody riled up and ruining the progress of the Corovax people. But then it turns out in this exercise that the Corovax did not help very much and had a lot of adverse effects. What do you know? What? How is that possible? But yeah, so it turned out the vaccine wasn't that good after all. And even in their exercise, they fucked up with the vaccine. So they're like telegraphing that. It's insane. So even they, in their little exercise, didn't like the vaccine, and it turned out to not be very good. And they had like celebrity influencers and stuff, and people like saying get vaxxed, and then they have people who were saying don't get vaxxed, and it was just a whole big thing. But you'd think that the message that they would put out there was take the vaccine, but the message ended up being like, oops, we fucked up with the vaccine, and everybody was kind of right, but like, no, we're not going to say anything about it. And I don't know if even the FDA approved this vaccine in this scenario or not. I'm going to link this below, and you can read the whole 89 page or whatever, 80-something pages of the book itself that they made. And then you can also read the conclusions, and I'll link that. Yeah. So you can read it yourself. So it's just one of those other documents that details what's going to happen in the future. I didn't see anything about masks in it, which is interesting, because some of the other documents that I've read, like Lockstep, had masks in them, but even here they were like, fuck it, let's just talk about this and that and the other. So they didn't have as much detail as they did in Lockstep. The scenarios for future development, something or other. So yeah, that's basically what happened there. And Bill Gates is on the move again. So they're doing the Global Citizen thing. So I want you to remember that Global Citizen has financial funding, what other kind of funding? Has funding from the Bill Melinda Gates Foundation. And they work together. They're partners. So anything related to Global Citizen is related to Bill Gates. So keep that in mind in the future. And I'll link that below, like the proof of that. But people will be low information on Twitter or whatever and see Vax Live or whatever the hell they got and be like, oh yeah, that sounds good. But then they don't realize that it's directly connected to Bill Gates. So not a conspiracy theory if it's true. Just saying. And I'm going to wrap this up by saying it was a crazy month, and I hope we got everything out. I guess another thing was... Ah, shit. I don't know. What else do I want to say? Recall. There's other stuff that I wanted to talk about. I'll look in my links, because I got some links on my phone. Things I wanted to discuss. Oh yeah, well... Oh, let's talk about what's in the drug. I'm just going to give you the ingredients of the Pfizer one, because I do have that available. So I'll just tell you that. The Pfizer-BioNTech, by the way, they collaborated with another company so that they could hide behind them rather than be like, Pfizer, we're sued by everyone, but hey, like us. So they can have someone else to take the fall if anything goes down. I think that's what that was. That was a very legally manipulative kind of thing. Like, they're trying to make sure that they don't take the fall by themselves and take a loss. So if they have a loss, if they get sued, they're not going to get sued. That's not the thing. But if they have financial difficulties or whatever, then BioNTech will take some of the heat for that and will be affected financially as well. That's what I meant to say. And that's one of the things I liked about Vincenzo, is that it's about a drug company. It's a pharmaceutical company. It's evil. And I can relate. In 2021, yeah, we can relate. And how novel, how cool that they're discussing that, like this real world shit with Big Pharma. I love that. Love that for them. Okay, so the Pfizer-BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine includes the following ingredients. They're all great, I'm sure. mRNA lipids, 4-hydroxybutyl, what does that say? Aconidyl bis, hexane 6, 1-deal bis, 2-hexyldecanate. This sounds amazing. 2-polyethylene glycol. That doesn't sound vegan. 2000 NN dietrideclecetamide. 2 disteryl. That's not even a word. Singlycerol. 3 phosphocholine and cholesterol. Who doesn't want more cholesterol? Potassium chloride. The only thing I can pronounce so far. Monobasic potassium phosphate. Sodium chloride. Dibasic sodium phosphate dihydrate. And sucrose. Because we all need a little more sugar in our lives, right? So that's pretty much what's in that shit that they're giving you. So look out for that. Ooh, this is another thing. Okay, I'm going to link to another thing about vaccination. So, when they bring up the anti-vax movement and everything, they don't talk about the history of it. So I thought it would be cool if you guys could read about Leicester and this thing that happened from 1853 to 1889. It's Leicester and the anti-vaccination movement. It's very interesting to see how the smallpox vaccine got people so worked up. And then they had a compulsory vaccine for children, and they had to fix it because of anti-vaccine sentiments, which was in government as well, or governmental bodies or whatever, and it was very politically charged. So everything that's happening now basically has happened before and will happen multiple times throughout history. That's how I feel about the whole situation. Oh shit, I forgot to fucking talk about the biggest thing. So the biggest thing is, while I was watching Vincenzo, I was thinking about the shit that happened with FDA and Johnson & Johnson recently, where they said, okay, we're going to unpause it. They can use the authorization and everything again. And then it turns out, as it turns out, they had the Baltimore place, the factory that was producing the vaccine was under fire on April 8th. Not April 8th. April 21st. So this is April 21st story, and I'm going to link it below so you can read it, from KTLA. And they have a 13-page report detailing findings from the just completed inspection of the idled Emergent Biosciences factory. I thought it was Biosolutions. Interesting. Anyway, it's all about that. And then cut to a few days later, after that report, the 23rd, literally the 2 days later. Agencies underscore confidence in vaccine safety and effectiveness following data assessment. Available data suggests potential blood clots are very rare events in the Johnson & Johnson Janssen vaccine. So after a safety review, 2 days after there was a scathing report of the factory in Baltimore, they're like, okay, put it back on the market. So just wanted to leave you with that. So you can have a nice day. And thank you so much for listening to this 2-hour episode, unedited, of the Super Awkward Funcast with Elle Latham as your hostess. And have a great rest of the month and May. And I'll see you then. Bye-bye now.